Grüezi miteinander, Gregory von Lebestark here. I'd like to reintroduce myself on the Gregory Reacts channel. The last time I posted on this channel was over a year ago. I see there's 200 subscribers. Great. They're all coming from the official Lebestark channel. And what I want to do, a new approach that I'm trying to build with this channel is I want to share personal stories, workout related stuff, but with a broad brush that I cannot share on the Lebestark channel because it would be too diversified. And I want to keep the Lebestark channel as focused, as funneled as possible, because this is how YouTube works nowadays. You can't just be a variety channel where you share thousands of topics at the same time. But of course, I'm not just limited to training. I have other thoughts, even though I'm going to talk about training here as well, maybe a little bit more of an extended approach. But this is unfiltered, unprocessed, unedited Gregory from Lebestark. Funny, I even say Lebestark in an English type of style. It's Lebestark, right? And by the way, Lebestark means live strong. And Grüezi miteinander, this is the introduction that means hello everyone in Swiss German. It's been asked so many times on the channel, but funny thing is like people don't understand it. But I got started with this for a very long time, back when I was doing the German content, and I kept it even when I switched to the English stuff. So the topic that I want to talk about today is we are growing as a team. And by the way, we're opting in, or we are selling new merch, new shirts, stuff. This is what I'm going to reintroduce as well, because we've had merch for a long time, but I want to reintroduce it. A couple of you people asked about actually getting some shirts and some hoodies and some stuff, and I am going to reintroduce that as well. I'm going to rock these shirts here as well as on the Lebestark channel, so keep an eye out. The link is also in the description if you can't wait and you want to already order something. But this is not just a video where I want you to buy something or I want you to jump into something. I actually want to share an interesting story, and that is we are growing as a team. I'm really happy that I can now finally say that I have exited the nomad approach of my journey as an entrepreneur. So being a nomad is actually you do everything by yourself. And I've exited this approach a long time ago, but now it becomes more and more official. And now I'm taking steps to step a little bit away from the daily business and work on the business. So that's a little bit of a different approach that I'm taking, delegating some work and working with new people and actually employing people. But back when I started, it was the nomad approach. I was doing the accounting, I was doing the selling, I was doing the coaching, I was doing everything. And I worked my butt off, so to speak. That was really, really crazy back when I started in 2016. And I think everybody has to do this. When you have a chance that's offered to you, you actually got to work hard until you find a way to work smart. Because you probably always hear there's so many things that I heard back in 2016 that made sense now. Back then it was like, well, what does it really mean? For example, find your audience, find your demographic, know who you are selling to, know who you are coaching, know the people that are right in that specified lane that you want to specialize in. Know these people. And funny thing is, I heard that and I was like, well, everybody is my customer, right? Everybody needs fitness. Everybody's my client. And that's a long story, which I'm going to share on the channel as well. How I develop my audience, how I develop my demographic, where we are currently and how it's going. And it's going great, by the way, which I appreciate it. And that's the reason why the team is growing. So Angie started working for Lebestark full-time in 2023 August. So that's a year ago. She started in 2020 and she went in full-time 2023, and she took a big load off of my shoulders. That was really awesome. So I was able to focus on other stuff while Angie was handling important matters of the business that I just couldn't handle anymore. And by the way, if you always think, that's what I thought, right? I'm invincible. I can do this. I do it 24/7. I do it everything by myself. It's just impossible. You're going to burn out. Your body is going to send you some serious symptoms, and you have to listen to your body and recognize, all right, you know what? I think this is not the way to go. This is, if you always go balls to the walls, this is going to kill you. And I got some bad advice along the way. It was like, yo, if you have made your Fourth sale of the day. Don't just sit back and relax. Don't chill. Don't sit down and grab a cup of coffee or go home and say, you know what, I've sold enough for the day. No, go boss of the world and think about it. Your challenger, your competitor right next to you wants to get your clients and kill your business and all that kind of stuff. And from a certain perspective, I understand the hustle mentality, but it is destructive. You can't just always do business like this. I recognize maybe there's some people can't, right? Maybe some people are genetically built different that they can actually kill themselves and they feel it when they're 70, or 60, like I did everything, boom, dead, right? And I don't want this to happen. So I realized I got to build a team. And now I've introduced Jason. Jason, he got started with us in February 2024. So that's 6 months ago. And how awesome is that? He got started with us through YouTube. He was doing our YouTube moderation. So he was the mod in the chat. And then he became, I employed him. And now he's doing our email marketing as well as support. So that means if you are on the Lebestark newsletter list, you'll get emails from Jason. So he's going to talk directly to you. If you have any questions, support related, or you want to reach out, you're going to talk to Jason. So he's the head of support right now. And this, again, takes a huge load off my shoulders. And it's not that I don't want to talk to you. It's not that I want to reach out to people who have questions and, maybe serve some value and help you out. The issue is, if there's so many people reaching out and you have the daily business going constantly, continuously, you cannot continue, or you cannot serve everybody. And then what you do is you stop serving these people who have questions because you focus on other tasks. And then this big task gets left behind. And so that's the reason why I got started with Jason. He's now, like I said, 6 months employed. And now we are working with 3 new people that we are probably employing to get started with consulting and coaching and all that good stuff. And the way we've built this business, it's growing. I'm so grateful. And I'm so grateful that I can build a team, that I am now taking a step back to start delegating some work and actually focusing on building an A team. And this is currently the state that I'm in. And this is why I exited that nomad approach. And now I'm slowly turning into building a business and being an entrepreneur. However, my business coach, he says, you are probably a CEO-preneur. So what that means is you are a hybrid who wants to work on the business, but also inside the business. Because I don't know what happens in 5 years, but currently I do not want to step away from coaching. I do not want to stop doing these videos. I do not want to take myself away from certain tasks that are maybe not as high value as somebody else would consider it, even though I consider them high value. But from how much do they move the money needle? How much do they move the business needle? Maybe not that much, but I still want to do it because I'm actually a coach by heart. I love what I do. And I want to sharpen the saw. I want to sharpen the skill and make sure that I stay in the trenches, because as long as I stay in the trenches, I'm connected to, first of all, our clients and our audience, and I'm able to sharpen my skill and get better at it. And I actually want to get better at it, being a coach. And you have to recognize that just a couple of months ago, we got started, or we focused on our demographic. So we honed in on one particular demographic that we are serving. And you have to imagine, for 7 years, I was actually doing I was flying blind. I was serving everybody. And now I recognize, you know what? You actually have to focus on serving one particular group and one particular niche. And this is where it comes in, right? Find your audience. This is what I've realized now. I know where the audience is. And now I understand we have product market fit. Now I understand how to serve these people better. Now I need an A team to help me do what I do. And this is just a beautiful thing. I feel it's like a transition. It's a transitioning from this typical nomad approach to a business builder approach while still being that kind of hybrid. Because, coaching people is one of the most rewarding things that you can do. Yes, it requires a lot of energy. It's very demanding. And that's why we do a max of 3 sessions, one after the other, because after 3 sessions, you're drained. And not in a negative sense, but the energy that you're giving. And as you can see, I'm a high energy person. You've probably seen this on the Lebe Stark channel. If you follow us there, if you're new here, you probably already recognize I'm a high energy person. And if you are high energy and you always serve people like this, you're constantly pushing out that energy that you have. And at the same time, you are draining your battery, which is normal. You're a human being, right? Even robots don't have a battery forever. And what then happens is if you still want to have this highly focused approach and you still want to serve your clients well, you have to make sure that you don't coach too many people. Sometimes I hear personal trainers that do like 15 sessions a week and a day. And when I got started, it was 9 sessions a day. And I was highly focused because it was my chance, right? I was a little bit younger. So 10 years younger or 8 years younger, I was focused on, let's do this. I finally got my chance. I can finally build a business. I can finally do it on my own. I can finally have a huge incentive to go all in. Finally, something works. I'm going to share some videos on the channel where you see I've done so many things in my life that did not work. It didn't work out. Right? Now what you're seeing is your version that is already successful to a certain extent. But back then, I'm 40 years old. So that means, right? 34 years, I was going to and fro. I was back and forth. I wasn't really succeeding in anything. Even though I always had a high drive, I was always high energy, I was always focusing on something, but it didn't work out in the end. And now it finally works out. So back then, I was going all in. And then I realized, I got to cut it down. And if you're a trainer and you do this, you're like, I want to do this my whole life. 9 sessions a day, this is probably going to kill you. And at the same time, you have to find a profitable business model, right? You have to find out, okay, how can I do this? And how can I start employing people? How can I find my niche? How can I find my audience? All these questions. And now that's the reason why the team is growing. And that's the topic that I wanted to focus on this video. I have many topics coming up. I think throughout the whole week, I'm just going to write down a couple of topics and then I'm going to just speak because I have the gift of gab. I can't stop talking, as you have probably realized. That's what a lot of people criticize me on my podcast, even though I've learned. And by the way, you also have a podcast where we talk to the most powerful kettlebell folks in the kettlebell sphere, elite coaches, elite athletes, and these conversations are awesome. And I've learned that I have to shut my mouth when I have a dialogue and a conversation. I think I'm learning this. But when I'm on myself, I can speak forever. All right, so this is it. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.